Hi, I'm Steve Schwartz, co-founder of Unrivaled, and your host for this episode of Beyond the Scoreboard. If you're unfamiliar with Beyond the Scoreboard, it's a show about the positive work that professional sports teams are doing for their fans and their communities at large. On today's feature, we're talking with Marcel Reece, former NFL standout and current senior advisor to the Las Vegas Raiders. Marcel will tell us more about the recently announced Al Davis Eddie Robinson Leadership Academy. Let's bring in Marcel now. Hey, Marcel, thank you so much for joining us on Beyond the Scoreboard.
Steve, thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be here on Unrivaled, especially in the Beyond the Scoreboard segment. This is an awesome thing that you guys are doing, so I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you for the kind words. We wanted to have you on because you're building something that's really fantastic out there in Las Vegas, and we wanted to get a little bit more detail. Please take a minute and give us a quick overview of the Al Davis Eddie Robinson Leadership Academy that you're building out there in Las Vegas.
Absolutely, Steve. First of all, the names Al Davis and Eddie Robinson speak for themselves when it comes to winning and being trailblazing world changers. But the Al Davis Eddie Robinson Leadership Academy is being designed and built to increase the pool of qualified minority candidates for leadership positions across the football and sports world.
And so why is this so important to the Raiders and Mark Davis?
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. Mark Davis has been thinking of this for so long. You've always seen the Raider organization being ahead of the times. And it's continuing now with Mark Davis, where he is just ahead of the times right now and making sure that we create an atmosphere where we have qualified candidates, a huge pool of qualified candidates who can lead this league in every facet.
Marcel, in doing a little bit of research about the leadership program, it sounds like you guys are going to be really trying something new and some really different innovative approaches. From my understanding, you guys are partnering with a higher education institution like UNLV.
One thing that we felt that was important, and it goes along with embracing our community, immersing ourselves in our community locally in Las Vegas, was partnering with the institution of UNLV. We've had meetings with the new president and Dr. Keith Whitfield, who is a phenomenal human being. We've also had meetings with Nancy Lowe, who is ahead of the sports management school. We are still in the very early stages of that relationship and partnership, but we are going to absolutely cultivate that and be able to present higher education for every candidate that comes through our program.
And so that partnership means that you'll be adopting some of their curriculum, but it doesn't mean that the Leadership Academy is going to be on the UNLV campus, correct?
That is correct. You know, we do have plans in the future to be building a dedicated campus and building for the Al Davis Eddie Robinson Leadership Academy.
So you have an innovative partnership that you're currently, scoping out with UNLV. You have plans to build a dedicated campus separate from UNLV and separate from the Raiders training facility. Tell me a little bit about the curriculum itself.
Well, Steve, one thing we're going to do is find subject matter experts, whether it be time management, crisis management, critical thinking, and we're going to bring these teachers per se in, and they're going to be a huge part of our curriculum.
So you're going to have a key partnership with a higher education institution like UNLV. You're going to have a dedicated campus with subject matter experts from all over the world from a curriculum standpoint. That's a lot. That is not only a huge commitment, but it sounds like it's a lot of money. How much is this going to cost a candidate to come through and participate in the leadership program?
Well, Steve, we wanted this to be special, and we didn't want this to cost candidates anything. We set this up to be a nonprofit organization, and we wanted to instead make an investment into our culture, an investment into our community, an investment into our new leaders coming up.
That's outstanding. And so then how do you measure success of the program?
That's a great question, Steve. Well, I look at it like this. It has to be about longevity. We don't want to just teach guys how to get a job and to get their foot in the door, but we want to show guys how to keep the job. You look at guys like Mike Tomlin, Marvin Lewis, when he was at Cincinnati, those are guys who not only got their job, but they also were able to sustain the job and keep it for long periods of time. And that is the measure of success. And, just because they come through the system doesn't mean you're automatically going to get a job, Steve.
Right.
And
Sure.
we understand that, and we're realists, and we know that reality is, they don't get a job right away. Everyone doesn't get a job right away. Some will, some won't. But we know that guys will be qualified. We know guys will be confident. And we know when they get into that interview process that they will blow owners, general managers, presidents, and the people who are making those decisions. They will blow them away.
Well, Marcel, so you got a lot of moving parts going on. When do you expect the first class to be accepted into the academy?
Ooh, that's another good question. And put me on the spot here, Steve. But to answer your question, we are looking to do some sort of inaugural class here in June 2021. And that may be the first I said that, but we want to have our first class this coming June in 2021.
Outstanding. And Marcel, I'm really curious, you in particular were a longtime standout NFL player, played, I believe, 10 seasons and made a couple of Pro Bowls.
Four.
Nice. Yeah. Well, multiple, not a few, but multiple. From a player's perspective, what does a leadership academy like this mean?
Wow. It means a ton, going through the NFL the way I did. I had a lot of different coaches, a lot of different offensive coordinators, a few different running back coaches, but there's not a lot of coaches that look like me. There's not a lot of coaches that come from where I come from. And when you start to, when all of us, all the generations to come, start to see coaches that look like us, general managers, presidents, people in leadership, decision-making positions that look like you, come from places that you come from, it becomes encouraging. And, they become living proof and living examples that you can be anything you want to be. You don't necessarily have to be a player to be successful in the sports industry. And that's one thing that we want to make a reality for the younger generations coming up right now.
Yeah. One other question, just based again from a player's perspective, a program like this Leadership Academy, how important or how beneficial could it be for current players who are still trying to decide what they want to do after they get done playing?
I think it's going to be huge. We feel that it could possibly present some weeks in there where we can get current players that think they want to be head coaches in this league or general managers in this league or presidents in this league to be able to come in and participate in our academy. And you'll know very soon whether or not you're made for it or even want to do it. Because some guys may be great at it and may have the potential to do it, but they just don't want to. It's very time consuming. It's very intensive, and you may not want to do it. And it'll be able to help guys create the mindset and thinking process, hey, I need to think about something else because this is not the route that I want to go. I'm not built for this. I'm not made for this, or I just simply don't have the ability to do it. Mm-hmm. But we think that it'll help a ton of guys out, and it'll be fun for them as well. Some guys don't want to get away from the game. And our academy will present you in different ways to be close to this game.
Right. Oh, excellent. Well, Marcel, thank you so much for joining us on Beyond the Scoreboard today. Any final thoughts or information you want to share with sports fans across the country?
Steve, first of all, thank you for having me on Unrivaled. It's been an awesome time. You guys are doing a great thing. But for us, just stay on the lookout. We have so many things coming up. We're in the early stages of building the infrastructure for our academy, but we're working diligently to get it all going. But I'll tell you what, Steve, once we have more updates, once we have more things to share and where people can find us and be on the lookout, and even if they want to participate, I'm coming back on Unrivaled Beyond the Scoreboard segment. We're going to talk about it.
I would love to get an update from you and let people know kind of what's happening and how things are progressing. Take care and be safe.
I appreciate you, Steve. Be safe. Go Raiders.
Yeah. That was awesome.